Hi, I'm in Paddington Station in London. Thought I'd talk for a minute about the master file update process a bit more specifically. This is a very old concept in computing, one of the first automated processes because it was a batch process, but it's a very simple little process that in a certain sense just understanding the principles behind the master file update will help us to understand more what posting looks like and the basic premise of so much of the IT processing in the world today around business systems. So what a master file update looks like, as we've talked about a little bit, you have a set of balances that are the historical balances, and then there's a set of transactions that have happened since the last time you updated the master file. So what you do is you have to make sure that those two files, those two sets of records, the balances and the master file, are in sorted order, so that they are in the same sorted order by some set of keys, some value, like a customer ID, like an account balance, like a legal entity chart of account balance, like a vendor ID, something of that sort, contract identifier, invoice number, those kinds of things. They have to be in the same keyed order. Then what you do is the program does a very simple process of reading the first record off of each one of those files, the transaction file of all the transactions since the last update was done, and the master file. And it compares the two. If the two match, then it knows that it needs to apply the transaction to update the master file. And then it reads another transaction to see if that transaction is the same key as the last one. If it is, then it continues to update that balance with the additional balances, the additional transactions in the file. If the keys do not match, then it has to decide, do I need to create a master record for the first time? Because this is the first time we've had a transaction for this vendor or this customer or whatever it is. So it might need to initialize and create an initial balance, in which case the balance begins as is assumed to be a value of 0, and then it goes on to update that with the transactions since the last posting process and creates the new balance. If they don't match the other way and the balance has no corresponding transactions for that key, then there's been no update to the master file. There's been no update to the balances. So it then just simply passes that balance into the new file without any updates. This little process goes on and on very simply like that until it gets to the end of the two files. Once it gets to the end of the two files, then it's written a new master file, and the new master file is going to be used in the next update process. The master file can also be then used to produce a bunch of reports because it has all of the balances since the posting process completed, and those balances can be used to create reports of all different kinds. It's a very simple little concept, but something that's really at the basis of so much of our systems today is the master file update process. Technologies that can be used to do it, well, there's a lot of different technologies that can be used, and they've changed over the years quite a bit. We have databases now that are used, and so you don't have to have the files in the keyed order. You can simply do direct reads against database keys to pull out the records that are needed. But that doesn't really change the underlying function of the process. So this is a master file update process, a very simple process that I don't think many people think about much. Many people haven't ever seen written anymore, and yet it undergirds so much of our systems in the world.